Okay, so welcome back to Magic of Programming as we're working on our adventure game. Last time we added items and put them into active memory. Now we need to take them and actually put them onto the map. So as we pull up our code and we looking, this is where we last left things in our debugger. We want to turn our debugger off. So up here at the top corner, it says debug, move back over here to the Java file. That sets us back up, that sets us back into the Java development environment. And we go back to our adventure part here. Let's go ahead and double click over here. Turn off that little breakpoint reset. So toggle breakpoint. That should have him turned off. Oh, he's still in that debugging mode. A little bit here. We say run again. There. We're not breaking now when we run it. So we can do our east, south. So we're moving through our map just as we had planned. All right. We need to take these items that are now part of our memory, put them onto the map. We have our XY positions. So let's come. First of all, we're going to take these atoms and associate with the map rather than the map location with the atom. You'll see what we mean here. Each map block is going to keep track of each atom that is currently at him. That way, if we have someone later who moves up here and they drop something, they drop it on the map block. They can pick it up, carry it somewhere else, and drop it there. So it's really, as you walk to this position, it's going to tell you what's here. So we need a way to associate with the map block what is there. And that's what we're going to add here to our map block. Our Java file, our class. So I went ahead and with that, we need to know how many atoms are here. Now when I move over here to this next map block, I need to know how many atoms are here. So we'll have an atom count there. If we had one for overall when we read them in, we need one here. So from there also, we need to know, well, what items are here? And so with that, we gave overall, I said overall for the whole map, earlier when we looked at the adventure game part over here. And we said maximum items is 20. So technically the maximum we can have at our max block is 20. So I'm going to update here to match that. So once again, and now difference is we're going to make these public. You saw last time the difference between public and private. So we don't have to worry about the gets and the sets and the gets and the sets as we're dealing with our items. Yeah, we're just going to go ahead and make those public. Now, remember, our items that we read in, our entire list for the entire game has our title and our description for each item now in that array. Once again, let me pull that picture up. There. And if I make him separate. So this is the guys we're talking about. And we're going to keep him handy over here. So all our different items are now in this array, labeled 0 to 3. I don't want to have to keep that data again inside the map block. So if we're starting at 0, 0, and we've got the bag of gold sitting at 0, 0. If we look at our map.csv file, or a shiny dagger is at 0, 0. I don't want to have to put that and his description again over here. And then if we pick him up into our inventory that we'll do in our next video, have that again and put over here. I only want to store that data in one place. because if we keep putting it in different places, there's a chance we may mess something up, and now it's not the same between the different places. It's like in your school, you've got your student information system. So when you apply, we get your name, we get your address, we get your phone number, and all the other information about you. But when we send you to register for classes, well, they've got different information about you, or they replicate the same information over here. Okay, now depending on what classes you took, you've got different billing information over here, how much they're going to charge you, and to see if you actually paid for it. And financial aid, you got to get your financial aid in, your Pell Grants or your tuition equalization grants or whatever it is, and that's going to apply to the billing. But what if somewhere along the way you changed your phone number or you changed your address? So you changed it with the billing department, but the financial aid department, if they're kept that separate, now they've got your billing address, they've got a different billing address now. So come time to send you information for, hey, we need your FAFSA information, send it in to me. They send it to the wrong address. But the bill still goes to your address. So you never wind up getting the financial aid information. So now that never gets applied to your bill, and you get a bigger bill. We don't like that scenario. So we want to keep all that information in one place. But how do we tie them all together? With your student ID number. We use one number in these different areas, referencing back to this one collection of data about you. And by that, they can say, hey, give me this information about this guy, or for this one, give me this information about this guy. Same ID number gets to the whole pack of data. So we want to reduce data replication, different data, different places, replicating the data to start with, and then it gets off. So that's what our array here is. This one place for all the information about an item. But how do we say something, I want to know something about a specific item? We need something unique about each one that we can reference. We've got something unique about each one. Know what it is? Let's look right over here. What's over here that's different? Our index. So item 0 is always going to be the bag of gold. Item 2 is always going to be the shiny dagger, at least for when I run the program. If I change my data file over here, then it might get a different number over here. But while we're playing the game, once we initialize, it'll always be referenced by this number right here. So why don't we just reference that number over here, or actually here. So when I say items here, I don't need all this information. I just need to know which item is there based on here. And how do we do that? When we read it in, we come down here to our initialization. Remember this guy, when we brings in the items right here. Oh, look, we already got the X position, Y position for the map part. We created our item, and we added his name and his description. At this point, how do we know which item we're dealing with? Well, when we added him over here, we used item count. So in the items array, this whole guy over here, which item? The current one that we're adding. So we read in the first one, item count started at 0. We read that in an item, we stuck him in items at 0. So that's the index of the first one is 0. After we're done, we incremented the item count, so he's now 1. We come back up, we read in that second one, and we stick him into position 1. And we increment our item count. We come up and we stick him into number 2, and so on and so forth. As many as we have in that data file. He will just keep adding them up to 20, and that's where we end that file. All right. I'd say to my class, if you're in my class right now, any questions? But I can't hear you. This is a recording. So, at this point, it's good. I don't have to answer any questions. You can always put them into the comments, ask questions in the comments of the video, and maybe I can answer them there. All right. So we've got our array. We need to put that reference into, now, wrong string, into our map block. And so if we look in to this guy, oh, let's see, actually the other version of him, there he is. Let me put you up for the time being. Take you over here. There we are. Move you over here. And go back to our map block. Here we go. This is kind of a little graphed out picture of a map block. Now that we see he's got the title, short label with a description, our north, south, east, west, of saying whether there's a wall there to the north, is our wall to the south, east, or west. And now we're going to do our items here. First, I listed our item count, and then our items here. And what that is, that's a list, once again, of up to 20 things that we can store associated with this map block. And that's going to be, we're going to store the index. Notice this is not items for our array here. Because all that data, I said, we're storing in that one main list. What we're going to store here is that index from over there. That big file. So we take that and put into here, such that if we want to see some data in there, where are you? There you are. Come loose. Go back to our map block. Nope, that's not the right one. Get back over here. That's the one I want. Come over here. Go back to our map block. Okay. Here it is with information of the first block. So we've got city gate. You're standing at the main gate out of the city. 1101, that's our north, south, east, west. Then how many items are here? And we have index number 2 for that. How do we get that? Once again, all that other data comes from our map.csv file. So map block 00 is the one we're looking at the data for. City gate, you're standing in that main gate out of the city, blah, blah, blah. And then the 1101 from the end of the line, one up here, 1101, 1101 right there. The other 2 parts will be coming in from our items.csv. When we reach this line and bring it into the system and put that in the array, 00 for the which map block we're putting it in, shiny dagger, perfectly good pointy thing, blah, blah, blah. We don't want to replicate this. Instead, we're putting in the index of the third item we read in. Being off by 1, this is 0, 1, 2. So this is number 2, and that's what will go into our array. With that in mind, we get to map block 1, 2. That's going to be our vegetable vendor. If you look back at our map.csv file, let's go back over here. The 1, 2 roadside stand. The vendor set up a booth selling blah blah blah. When we go to our items, you'll see there's now a box of strawberries there. Makes sense for our vegetable vendor. Or, well, I guess that's a fruit vendor, but he's a vendor of planty things. Okay. There's also an old wagon wheel there. Like someone brought their cart over, the cart broke, and the old wagon wheel fell off. The cart seems to have had a blowout. So it's saying here, so this old wagon wheel will be there. But what would we see in that map block? We would see it say stuff about the roadside stand and the description of that. His north, south, east, west versions. Item count should be 2. And we should have 0, 1, and 3 would be the values added in here. So this would be 2, and there should be 2 values, 1 and 3. And we'll see that when we go to debug later. I'll pull that up and you'll see that. That's the plan. So when we finish our code, that should be what we see if the plan comes together. What was it, Hannibal Smith, who said back in the A-Team, I love it when a plan comes together. Yeah, we'll verify that. So old movie reference or TV show reference. If you don't get it, go back and watch 80s TV shows, okay? All right. So now we need to make sure this happens. So let's go put you up. Go back to our adventure. So we have our items, our title description. We need to put it on the map. So we need our map, and that's where on the map, our exposition Y position. Wherever we just read in up here from the data file, that'll be our exposition Y position to which we add this item. All right, so right now he says, wait a minute, we don't know who a map is. How don't we know who a map is? This map is defined up here in main. So here's our map. We're dealing with this initialization function. We passed an item file in our items, but not a map. See, we initialized the map here. He had map. This one doesn't. Well, we need it. So let's add it. And of course now he says, wait, I don't know an init function that has 3 things and one of them being the map. So we have to go work on now, add that part to it. That's part of our developing code. You don't do it everything at once. We've got to come back, do a little bit, make sure it works. Okay, we're going to add this. Now we go add more stuff to it. That's part of the engineering process. So as we develop this. So we got an item file, our item array. Now we need our map. But what is our map? That is a map block 2-dimensional array called map. And so I'm going to do a quick save on that. Oh, yes. It's still trying to... I had it running and it was still in a debugger somewhere. So we just stopped that. Alright. Now he's not recognizing our map block. Why? By the way, I like my things to be lined up this way. Map block 2-dimension. What's your problem? Right, you're not actually flagging as an error. Down here, you're saying errors. Oh, yeah, I'm in the middle of something down here. That's why. Yes, okay. So map X position, Y position. We want to go to our items here. So if I pick out this function right here, and I'm going to say which item here. It needs to be whatever position is next available in him. Well, where are we? If there's nothing in there yet, it needs to start off at 0. But I can't just say, oh, position 0, because there might already be something there. What do we have that can tell us how many he has? We've got another part. His atom count. Not the atom count being used here. This is how many atoms overall we've read in. I need to know how many atom counts for that specific map block. And to reach that, we have to go back to my map block at this position and get to his atom count. That will be the index of where I will add the reference to the atom. So, yes, this is a little complicated, doesn't it? Yeah. Don't worry. No, after you use it, you'll get it. And you can draw this out on paper. This is my entire array of items. This is my array of map blocks. It's this guy's map block that I want to put this item here. And that's what we're saying. But he has some. Now, which one of those? That's what this guy is. I'll get my head out of the way again. So we're going to take that map block, say this map block, items here, and at the position next available, we will add the reference to this item so that we can get to his description and title. And which one is he? Well, we just stored him in position item count. This item count. Notice when I highlight it, it tells me which item count I'm talking about. If it was the first item we read in from the file, or the second item we read in from the file, or the third item, starting with 0, 1, 2, and so on. That's the one we're going to store here. That reference back to the one that's got all the data. Yeah, I keep repeating myself, trying to get it to soak in. It might take a little while. All right. With that, he should be there. Now we need to do something else. Item count at that location will increase. I now have one item at this location. All right, let me get my big head out of the way. Oop, nope. Hey, stop it. Yeah, this one, this head. Yeah, there we go. Now to some point. Okay. We've used item count here. Right here. Now, there's multiple ways of doing things in Java. That's why we don't have just one program. We have many different programs, and there's different ways of doing all these different programs. So, I'm going to show you a few different ways. Now that we've used this item count, I could come down here and say, increment him. And so we use him. He's 0 to start with. We use him, then we increment him to 1. So that when we look at this, we say, okay, you've got one item here indexed with number 0 or 3 or 5, whatever, but he's in my 0 position of my list. All right. But item count's now at 1. I could also do it right here instead. So I would not use that one. After using there. I'm going to leave myself a note what I just did. Increment after using. So that's where there's a trick to things. All right. Give me a blank screen somewhere. Do I have a blank screen? Yeah. Let's pull up a blank screen. Notepad. Give me a new one. So we've got things like, if I say like I plus plus, what does that do? If I had something here, int I equals 0. So we have an integer that equals 0. Right? We start it at, if we do I plus plus, what does I equal now? 1. We added 1 to it. Ooh, can I make that bigger? Yes, there we go. Look at that. So I plus plus, that's 1. I come down here and say plus plus I. Now what is I? Well, we just incremented I again. It's now 2. Why do we have 2 different ones? Is there a difference? Yeah. Let's come this way. Let's say if we do like system dot out dot print I. At this point, what's going to get printed? 2. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to do it again here. Okay, I come here and I say print I plus plus. Know what's going to get printed? 2. Then I come right back to say print I again. You know what's going to get printed? 3. Wait, what? Oh, if I do this again, copy, paste those. If I say plus plus I, what gets printed? 4. Now if I print I again, what gets printed? 4. All right. Because I started at 0. We did I plus plus. I is now 1. We did plus plus I. I is now 2. So when we print, we get 2. There we go. Okay. I plus plus. This says use I. So we're going to print I. And then we increment it. So I was 2. We show the 2. Then we increment. So when we print I again, I has been incremented. I is now 3 when we leave the entire expression. So when we print I again, we get 3. In this format, on this line, the plus plus comes first. So we're going to increment I. That was 3. It is now 4. Now we use I in the print statement. I is 4. We print 4. We get down here and we print the 4 again. So that's the difference between using the I plus plus and the plus plus I. You see it in action. So let's go back to our code. And so now, if I embed inside of all of this stuff going on, as an item count plus plus, he's going to use the item count as it was. If we didn't use it yet, it is still 0, so we use it as 0. After we've used it, then we increment it to 1. So it's all part of the same expression, and I don't have to give it again down below. But I'm going to be nice and let you know here with a comment that we're going to increment it after we use it. It's like hint, hint, in case you were writing this at 3 o'clock in the morning and things were just flowing out of you at 3 o'clock in the morning like a lot of programmers do. Then the next day you're looking at this, or 4 months from now, or 5 years from now, when someone else gets to inherit your code and they don't know what you were thinking at 3 o'clock in the morning. There it is. We've got the comment to help us. All right. So that one line right there should put the atom into the position. We think so at this point. We hope so. So how do we find out if it is? Well, let's come up here. So we got, if we look at when we give a command, and we've got our part here where it says get title, and it says, it shows the description, and then it shows the command prompt. We want to actually show our item. So I'm going to create another little thing here that says show items. Now, who do I want to show items for? Well, the current map block. So I can say map. Ooh. Position. Position. I'm going to just send that one map block in. I don't have to send the whole map down here if I just need the items from that one block. I already know what one block I'm dealing with, so I'm just going to send that one block. And if he's going to show the data for that stuff, well, let's get the, what am I thinking? The item list. We have to know the item list. So I'm going to pass items over here to him. All right, so that map block and the items of the main list. Well, I could say, well, never mind. We're going to do it this way for now. So let's go over here and say, oh, right now that method does not exist. Let's go create that method. So he's going to come down here. Gives me the part where I have the map block coming in and the items list. So for that, once again, I don't like the way they format things. I'm going to come here myself with it so I can see my start and end of the function. I need to go through the full list. So for let's see. Actually, what am I needing here? I can start at the start of the list, just 0. Go until there's a counter already associated, the item count for items here. Sounds like a good use for a certain kind of loop, don't you think? Or int, let's see, we're using X stuff in other places, so I don't really want to. Oh, how about I? I's a good letter for an index, don't you think? All right, and we're going to start him at 0. I'm going to say while I is less than y. That's going to be my map block dot. Let's see who we could use here. Item count. So if we have one item, that's going to go through my loop from 0 to the value 1. And as long as I is less than 1, and then we will I plus plus. So it says that's going to come and do whatever I put in here. I is 0. If map block is 1, it goes through it. It adds 1 to I. I said, okay, are we still less than item count? We have 1. I is now 1. No, it's not less than anymore. It's equal to. So we're out. If we're in a map block that doesn't have anything in it, what is item count equal to? 0. So we start at 0 and we say, okay, while I is less than whatever item count is, 0. Is 0 less than 0? No. We skip out. We don't do anything. Sounds perfect to me. All right. What I wanted to do, I wanted to take and print out and say there is a or an, depending on what we're doing. We can code this up if we really want to make it say a only if the thing starts with a vowel. I should say and if it starts with a vowel. That's fewer choices to make. A, E, I, O, U. Or say only a if this. No, we ain't going there. You can play with that part if you want. Make proper English. I'm going to leave it a/and right here now myself. But what I want to stick in here. Ooh, wait. Let's do better with this. Let's take it to the printf formatted, which means right here there is a something here. What do I want to say? Percent. We have a string that we're going to pull in. The title of our object is really what I'm wanting to print here. Whatever item it is, I'm going to use the title right here. And so by using %s gives me a spot for a string. And with a printf statement, I have to tell him I want a new line after that. If I don't say new line, he ain't thinking I'm putting a new line. And they just all on the end of each other. After that, it's part of our printf statement. Are you just being stupid here? I think it is. It's just waiting for something. What is the string we want to put in here? Well, this will be from map block, right? What from map block? Ooh, items here. Which item? Well, if there's multiples, remember he is an array, so we have to say the index of the thing we want. Well, which index is it? Well, our loop control variable. Now, what does this give us back? Items here is an array of type int. Wait a minute. That's not a string. That's the integer. Wait, what was that? That's storing the index of our item. So we're not going to use this directly to print. He is actually the index of from our items list. Which one of those items? Oh, whatever that index was right there. That item we want to get to what? His title. All right, you see how that's... my head's in the way again. See how this is working? So, the index I, this is the one that we're looping through. We're getting 0, 1, 2, whatever we need from the items here for this map block that we just passed in. Wherever we were, we just entered and we're doing this. That gives us back an index of the items. The entire list of items, that one data repository we're doing for this. Once we get that item, we say, okay, we put the dot, we want the title of that item. And that's what's going to print in the %s here. That's what we're hoping is going to happen. So we got show items. Now, we start up, we set our stuff, we initialize our map file, we initialize our item file, and then we're giving the prompt, and then we're going to show items, and then they enter their choice. What's going to happen here? I already know something's going to happen, but I'm going to let y'all figure it out too. Alright, all I did is I added in showing the items, right? So if I run, and, oh yes, go ahead and turn that, what difference happened before? Oh, there's, oh, I had it. What did you do with it? You're still trying to debug, aren't you? You don't want to debug. Leave the debugger. go back over here. You terminated on me. Run. Okay, yeah, just so I had the debugger in the background somewhere. I told him to stop earlier. You saw me. I told him to stop earlier. And so, alright, they're standing at the main gate of the city. There's a road here that leads to the east. Command, there's a shiny dagger here. Okay, we're kind of there? What's wrong? Our prompt where we said, show me the title of the location, show me the description of the location, and then give me the prompt. That's all on one line if I go back and look. See, right here. I'm going to show the title. I'm going to show the map. And show me the command on a new line. And then I'm showing items. So what I really need to do is pull this part out. Take him out. So now he's going to print. Oh, wait. Also, I do want to change him to a print line so that we get the title, we get the description. Now we're showing the items. Control V. No, not quite yet. Control Z. Okay. System.out.print. This one I want him to stay because he's the prompt. You're staying in a selection mode. I don't. What are you doing? I don't know. Okay, he doesn't know. Paste him in now. But take out that plus. Go to the end, put a semicolon. That was at the end. I said end. Ah, there we go. Okay. Get over in their spot. Alright. So by moving that after the list of items. So let's play. They're standing at the city gate. Oh, we've got an extra line in here. I didn't mean to get this extra line. Let me go fix that now. Why did it give me an extra line? Probably because in show items down here. So no, I guess it's I'm only telling it to print one line. The title shouldn't have had a line in it. No, okay. Go back up here. Map. Items. Ah. I put the new line character before the command. No, don't want that. Because this one's already putting the new line character at the end. I don't need it to put one before the command. Alright. So, now let's run it, see if it looks like what we want it to look like. It tells me the items added. These are not really part of the game. Those are debugging commands. That part works now. We're going to take those out our next step. But city gate, they're standing at the gate. There's a shiny dagger here. We are at the city gate. 00, where the shiny dagger should be, according to our item.csv file. There. 00, up there, shiny dagger. So that's working. And since it's further down the list, we know it's not just picking the first thing off the list. It is showing us what we're wanting. Alright, so let me go do that cleanup real quick. This line right here, I said that's a debugging line. See, I left him all the way at the side so I could tell. I can comment him out for future reference. Now, we've got something else to do. This part right here, we updated this whole thing. We've got another place we use that exact set. So after we get our choice, I said, okay, we loop now. Keep doing our loop until something else happens. And after we loop, we give them that choice again. And we loop, we give them a choice. So here's that original line again right here. We're going to take him, put our new stuff in. So now more than just the first square should have it. So if we run now, there, it's prettier now. Let's go, there's a shiny dagger here. If I go to the east, there's no items listed. Yeah, not supposed to be. I go east. I go south. I go south, old windmill. If I go west, since I know what my map looks like from before, I should be at the roadside stand, where I have a box of strawberries and the old wagon wheel. Yes. So it works with 1 item, it works with 0 items, and it works with 2 items. It should work with 50, the way we have it written. Well, if we handle 50 items. We can change that number from 20 to 50, make us a much bigger data file, put them where they need to be. Whoop. I can do whatever I want now. The logic works for 0, it works for 1, it works for 2, shows it will work for anything else. So that's adding them to the map. And next time we'll see about adding them to our inventory. We need to be able to interact with these, pick them up. We'll worry about doing stuff with them later. But first we need to be able to pick them up and do things. So that'll be next time. So we'll see you then.